All right, good evening, everybody. I see there's a couple more people hopping on. Hold on. Um, Let me get all those added. All right, good evening. So I'm so excited for this Zoom. For those of you that are brand spanking new, you'll know that, or you should know, that every single Sunday night we do a new distributor training, but this one specifically is going to be geared towards what is kind of the next step, because we're going to talk about just some of the basics as far as like what are things that you should be doing. But we also want to give you like what's next, because obviously drop a 1 in the chat if you join this business because you needed extra income, right? Go ahead and drop that in there. We probably will see a lot of ones. So I know for me personally, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Erin Tweed. I have been doing this business almost 7 years, which is crazy. I started looking for this opportunity right around this time 7 years ago because I was working full-time as a nurse. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. We had to switch my son's daycare, which was more than 500 extra a month than we had initially budgeted for. And all of that being said, I thought for me to make extra income going back, I would have to go back to nursing school, but I didn't have like a passion for it. I didn't have a passion for a certain specialty or nursing administration, any of that. So I was in this spot of like, what in the heck can I do? And so I came across this business and I looked at the income chart and I saw Ruby, because that 500 more a month than when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be amazing for our family. That was the 500 extra that we needed to help cover the cost of childcare. And so that's going to be the focus of this Zoom tonight, is just the potential of Ruby and what does that mean, and all of the things. So Alyssa, I'm going to come to you first. I'm going to have the people that are going to be speaking tonight just share a little bit about their stories and themselves. And then we're going to jump into some of the context. So don't hesitate to ask questions in the chat. We'll try and get to those as we go through. But yes, Alyssa, if you just want to go ahead and take it from here.
Of course. Hi, everybody. So my name is Alyssa. Am I okay? I'm freezing on my end, so I want to make sure I'm good there. Okay, awesome. So I got started in this business 4.5 years ago. As of June will be 4.5 years, which is so wild. Time has flown. And so I'm a double diamond. My husband's a double diamond. He's not a double diamond. He's like one of those legs that does no work and you do all the work for them. That's what he is. So I got started 4.5 years ago with like zero experience in this kind of a world, had no idea what I was doing, what I was getting myself into. What I did know was I was a hair vitamin customer and I was incredibly impressed by it. So at the time I was working 2 full-time jobs, absolutely exhausted. So I was a surgical assistant as well as running the estimating department for my dad's company. So worked a lot of hours. And if anybody works for their parents, you work a heck of a lot more hours than the average person as well. So I was exhausted, but at the same time, like at the end of the month, I was ready for payday again. I was already running at low and I needed something else. And I didn't want to continue to work 2 full-time jobs. So I became a customer with Erin out of the blue completely. We were doing a renovation on our home. I found her on Instagram and I started stalking her, as us girls do when you find new people on Instagram. And I was like, what is this life that she is living? Like, I've never seen somebody successful in network marketing, because I'm not going around like adding people. You have the friend who sells Tupperware or like, I don't know, spices and things. And it's just like, I've never seen them make a full-time income. And I saw she retired her husband, she retired herself from nursing. And I was like, well, that's legit. Like, those are good careers. So I was telling my husband about it and he's like, well, why don't you just give it a try? And I was like, well, like, I'm not going to lose anything. And it's completely changed her life. So maybe it could do the same thing for me. And at the very least, could cover my car payment or groceries. And that's absolutely huge, because that's leaving excess at the end of the month for something else. So I dove in, but I did it super cautiously. I'm naturally super introverted. So my growth process was very slow from the start. And we're going to talk about all that tonight, but that's my story.
I love it. And I think, you guys, I want you to hear their stories and listen to the parts that you can relate to, because sometimes in this business, it's always finding somebody else's story that you can relate to. And you can be like, oh my gosh, I thought those same things, or I'm doing those different things, or what's happening. And so, just really hone in on that, because I think it can be so important as they're sharing. All right, Connie, if you want to go ahead and unmute and just introduce yourself real quick.
Hi guys. Sorry, I'm at my parents' house right now. So I've been in the business for 5 years as of March of this year. And I think the biggest thing for me is the reason I joined this business is because we were living check to check. My husband's in the construction world, so he wasn't always getting 40 hours a week. And there was times out of the year where it was a point where we were paying 2 full-time bills with 1 full-time paycheck, if that makes sense. And for me, I grew up on government assistance and food stamps and housing with my parents. I never had a lot of things. I was always like the less than kid in school. And so I never wanted that for myself. So everything that I went after as an adult was something that like I had to go above and beyond. And I always had to have like the nice things and the expensive things and all that stuff. So the life that I was living was not that life. And so I was so terrified that I was going to go back and follow the footsteps of my family, of the government assistance and food stamps and all that stuff. I received a random message from some girl on Instagram. And funny thing is, I always wanted to try the wraps because I literally have just this hatred for my love handles, but it's really just my bones that are so wide and just something that I can't deal with. Anyways, I became a customer first and I tried the wraps, and I actually told her that it didn't work. And I did all the things. I took the pictures, I drank the water, all of that stuff. But at the time for myself, I didn't know that you had to put the pictures side by side. I just looked in the mirror and I was like, nope, my love handle's still there. Didn't work. Like, they're not gone, whatever. So I texted her and I told her, I was like, they didn't work. Sent her the pictures. There was a huge difference. So I followed her just like Alyssa did, Erin, and I just followed her life. And I was like, what is she doing? Why is she so happy? Because remember, I was living check to check. I was miserable. I was checking my bank account Wednesday at midnight to see what our checks were Thursday morning, to see if we could afford those bills for that week, or to see if we could skip a bill to live life on the weekends, whatever it was. And so I followed her for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, if she can make this much money, I sure as heck can make a couple extra $100 a month. Because I was charging my $5.35 Starbucks every single day to a credit card. Because to me, in my eyes, that meant I wasn't broke to other people in their eyes. Because, I'm holding Starbucks. That means I can afford it. It was charged their credit card. Anyways, this journey has brought me to where I'm at now. And I think Erin has actually like paved the way for this to be able to provide an income to start our IVF journey as of the beginning of this month. So this business prepared us for that couple extra $100 a month to be able to fully pay in cash our IVF journey that we're going through that season right now. However, I did work full time for the first 3 years of my business. So it's not something that I was like, okay, I'm joining and I quit my job. Nope, I worked full time for the first 3 years, and the last 2 years I've been able to do this full time. A lot of hard work and dedication, but you guys just have to take quitting off the table, and I promise you it'll work out for you.
Yes, I love it. I know. And I will say too, I worked for my first until all the way through presidential, and did that in 14 months. And so everybody's journey is going to look different, and what their goals are and what this business can do. But I think, there is so much power in just hearing the stories, because I think all of us can attest, and Britt, I'm going to come to you in a second, but a lot of times that simple yes is just for the dollar amount, right? It's probably just like, oh, I need a couple $100 extra a month. But sometimes that yes sets you up for the future. And so maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you've been in a little bit and you're like, oh, like I'm working towards Ruby, or I've hit Ruby. There's really a lot of power in making that decision to just show up and do the things each and every day, because it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. I'm just going to be point blank frank with you, whatever the word is for that. But if you thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to come in and make $1 million overnight, no. But you have the potential to make $1 million. You have the potential to change your life. And so I think that's the most amazing thing. Like, I was sitting here and I'm like, gosh, like what we've been able to do. I don't think I could have ever made that kind of income working full-time as a nurse. Like, some of the things are just going to field day today and having the freedom to do that. But it's because I said yes to a decision to go Ruby and make that commitment, and something happens with Ruby. And so Brittany, I'm going to have you introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll get started.
Okay, hello you guys. I am Brittany. I'm also from Canada and I'm a double diamond. And I love the stage where you just start going Ruby. I feel like that was the most exciting stage in my business. And the reason why I went so fast, I went in 30 days, was not because I knew what I was doing, not because I knew what I joined or even what was happening. I didn't even try all the products. It's just because I needed this. And I actually joined Alyssa. So when I first got started, basically the backstory was I was living in Vancouver, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world, not just in Canada. It was crazy. I was paying $2,200 a month to live in a 600 square foot apartment. So that's just kind of some perspective if you've never been in Vancouver before. Anyways, me and my husband were both working crazy hours, like all the time, never home. And I was buying the products from Alyssa because I'm a professional dancer. So dance companies, you're with a whole bunch of people all the time. And I was constantly getting sick. And she posted about these greens. So you guys, it started with our greens and I tried them and loved them. But I was that customer who would message her every month and like not turn it off because I loved the product, but be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I just can't afford the product. I promise you're going to get that person. But her response to me changed everything. She's like, well, why don't you try selling it? And I was like, thank you so much. Absolutely not. Anyways, long story short, we did this for like a year. I would complain, not turn it off. And she would say, you could really sell it. I think you would be great at this. You could do it. And I literally said to her, please stop asking me. I love that you're so good at this, but I don't even post on social media. Have any of you guys said that before? I don't even know why I'm here. I signed up for this thing. I've never even posted on social media. That is okay. She kept asking me. And finally one night, this is the story I tell. I was going home. I was supposed to take transit. I had to take a cab, had to pay for this cab. And it made me so mad that I worked so hard and didn't have the extra to pay for it. And I texted her in the middle of the night. And I was like, all right, listen, Linda, I'm doing it. What do I need to do? And I told her off the bat, I'm 110% type of person. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So can you just tell me how to do it and do it quick? She said, okay, get your first 6 loyal customers. I think back then it wasn't even 6, maybe it was 4 loyal customers. And I was like, okay, done, got them. Didn't even know how. I literally like called everyone I knew. And then right after that, in 30 days, I went Ruby and I literally signed up my mom as an account. I signed up my husband as an account and I made a friend sign up. So if you want that $500 and you have a reason why you're here, just go for it. It would be my biggest piece of advice because just doing that changed everything for us. All of a sudden, I had those fast start bonuses. I had all of that cash just from going Ruby and I was still working. So now all of a sudden I could kind of dream bigger. So yeah, Ruby changed everything for me. And I'm super excited that you guys are on here because showing up is literally the hardest thing to do. Showing up every single day consistently is even harder. But along the way, if you start just making that a priority and hopping on these Zooms and doing the work, you're going to literally hit whatever you want to hit.
Yes, perfect. Well, and I love that you mentioned it because here's the thing. At the end of the day, the hardest piece of this entire thing, okay, the most difficult thing you're ever going to have to do is literally be consistent. Okay. And you're going to get on every Zoom and you're gonna be like, all they tell me to do is be consistent. I'm not kidding. That's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. And I think we can all attest to having success is tied into that consistency because people are not going to have success if people are going to your page and they don't see a post or they don't see you talking about it, or they don't see you offering the opportunity. If they don't see that, how are you going to expect them to know even what you have to offer? And so be consistent, even when you don't see the fruits of that labor. I promise you, you will see the fruits of it. Because I think sometimes that's the hardest part. So little background to kind of kick this off. So obviously if you're brand new, I know there's somebody that just joined yesterday, like kudos to you for hopping on this. Cause I know it's scary getting on your first training and you're probably going to get off and be like, whoa, that was a lot of information. Here's the thing. The best part about this is you get to learn, like soak it all up, get as much information. I was always one of the people that, I was like, tell me all the things, show me how to do the things, and I'll just figure it out as I go. And if I have questions, I'm going to ask. And so I think it's amazing that you're on here with us. So first thing, if you're just getting started, your first goal is going to be to get your first 6 customers. Okay. First 6 customers in 30 days, that unlocks a $150 shopping spree. That's also going to set you up for any type of promotion that the company is offering. Okay. That also starts helping you earn some commission and all the fun things. Okay. And so that should always be like your first and foremost goal. Now, just because I said that that's your first goal does not mean that you necessarily can't start offering the opportunity and start working towards the chart. Okay. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'll probably share it a couple times as we're sharing some tips and how we made that mindset shift and how we did the things. But I just want you, because I saw somebody in the chat was like, I literally don't even know what Ruby means. And here's the thing, I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. So this, you guys can see this, right? Hopefully, yes. Okay. That's why I'm like, all of my things, Kyle got me this new computer and I don't know how to work any of the things, and it's all space. So I keep looking over here. My camera's over here. I'm not used to it yet. Okay. So first and foremost, you can find this document. So any type of, if you're coming into this, you can earn commission based off of signing up customers. Okay. But really where you're going to see the big bucks and talking about the potential of making, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars is going to be in building your team. And so I want you to first and foremost, get the thought out of your mind that nobody else wants to do this business with you. You're nervous to talk to people about the opportunity because you haven't earned any extra income. Take that off the table. And I want you to write down each and every day, I am a mass enroller. I am capable and worthy of an amazing enrolling team. I am able to earn Ruby and beyond. Okay. So some of those different things, if you're just getting started, obviously, if you're working towards other goals, you're going to know the potential of this. So Ruby is going to be the foundation for a lot of other promotions. Okay. So if you can get this piece to the pie, everything else will make sense. Okay, so this document in your eSuite, if you're using Connect app, we do have like a back office eSuite.itworks.com. You log in, do the same things. You go, there's a little icon at the top. It's going to say documents, and then you're going to search Ruby, and then it's going to say Ruby chart. Okay, this is going to be, for me, this is like, oh, okay, I know my game plan. You know, it felt like, oh, I got in my car and I'm going to a destination. I put it in my GPS. Now I know what to do. Because sometimes it's like, I want to earn $500, but you're like, how do I, this is your goal. Okay. And so you right here, this person, you're going to see that's obviously you as the distributor. You enrolled. These 3 boxes are going to be other distributors, people that you find to add to your team that want to earn an extra income. Maybe they want to make money using the products. You know, Brittany talked about how she signed up her husband and she made a friend sign up, and I think your mom or somebody else, but you can get creative in however that works. I know I signed up my husband. And then I had a friend that was like, she had done something before and she was obviously nervous about, you know, doing anything else. But at the end of the day, she was like, I want to earn some extra income. Let's do it together. It's going to be so much fun. And so you can get creative. So these boxes are going to be distributors. Now they're not just boxes. Okay. These are people. They have goals, they have dreams, as you guys can probably all relate to. You have goals and dreams and things that you want to work towards. But then you're going to see at the top, so 3 qualified legs and 2,000 in group volume. So the group volume is going to mean your whole team's total of sales. And I know for some of you, that's probably like a little bit overwhelming, like 2,000 in sales. I just got started. When, again, if you think of this as a team effort, we're coming in, we're helping other people. We're not going out and getting distributors, not going out and getting people. We are working on focusing on helping other people. And there's no better time than now because people are looking for extra income. They're looking for ways that they can earn an income from home because maybe their kids are at home right now from school or whatever the situation, or maybe they just want some extra spending money. You know, there's so many different reasons. So you're going to see this. So we're going to talk through this chart and some different tips as far as like how you can go Ruby. So obviously we said, okay, first goal is the 6 customers, but you can also start earning that income by working towards signing distributors. And so Alyssa, I'm going to come to you first. Like, what was your focus as far as like how to game plan your Ruby? Like, how did you start talking to people? What did that look like for you as far as like just going for Ruby?
Yes. Okay. So We didn't have this when I was getting started, but it's how I train my distributors now. So you're always moving forward with things. And we do something called host to post. If you guys don't know what it is, make sure you ask your upline what the heck is host to post. They were talking about it tonight, but it is the main way that I bring in absolutely everybody. So I'm getting people to make a post for me about products, and I'm signing customers from that. But when people post for me, I'm asking that poster if they would like to also earn an income because they just did what I do, which is talking about the products. And then they start thinking about it. Not all of them are going to say yes, but it plants that seed, just like with Britt. It was like, come on, and then she comes back like 7-8 months later. You just never know. And it's our job to offer the opportunity. And I think the beautiful thing about Ruby is it only takes 3 people. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, when you're starting to have conversations with people, don't focus on the no's. Don't say, I got like 10 no's today. Start going for the yeses, where it's like, I only need 3 yeses. Stop scrolling through your messages, seeing who's not looking at your messages, who's not responding, who's leaving mean messages, whatever the case is. Just focus on where you're going in this business. So once you join, you don't necessarily think about how you're going to grow this organization, but when you really want to make some money in this business, you have to put on like your business owner hat and start figuring out how you can be a business owner and how you can scale your business. And obviously that's going to be with people, because yes, you can sign customers all day long, but when you have a team who's also signing customers, that starts taking the work and it's helping you out with that. So yeah, do you want me to touch on anything specific?
No, that's perfect. I will also post a recording. I don't know how to copy in my notes and to paste. So I'm trying to figure that out with my mouse, but I don't know how to do that yet. So I will post it once this link is up. You'll see some extra added links of things that we referred to. So that way you guys are like, oh, host post, there's going to be a training video link to that. And I think it is important, is to just start talking to each and every person. You never know who could benefit from it. And I know Brittany earlier gave the example, that she was struggling deep down and wanting to pay for her product and different things, but she kept saying no. So just because somebody says no right now doesn't mean that it's always going to be no, that they're saying no to you, or they hate your business and they hate you, all those kind of things. No, it's typically like, no, I'm not open to it right now, or hey, I don't have enough money, and maybe they don't want to say it. And so take that off your mind if you're worried about, what are people going to think and all of those things. Because you guys are going to notice too, like, obviously this is the roadmap, but the part that really makes this amazing is your mindset. And so Connie, I'm going to have you talk a little bit about just mindset and like how you made that shift to just like focus around, the mindset. Because at the end of the day, it's the consistency and the mindset is going to be the hardest piece of this entire thing.
This is my favorite part, because before I started this business, I even remember Kelsey Thornton coming out to visit me one time, and I was just, the littlest thing I just like snapped at. And she's like, why are you always so angry? And I was just like, well, when you come from like living check to check and stressing over that, and then the stress goes into all these other things in your life, and then you just become this like upset person. And that falls back on like what Erin said, like a no is not like, not forever. It's not indefinite. It's just not right now. And the way people react to you guys, I want you guys to know it's based off of how they're feeling about themselves or what's happening in their world, and has nothing to do with you. So the biggest thing for me when I first started, I'm like, nope, don't need it. Like self-development's dumb. Don't need it. Not for me. Like I'm good. But then I got into it and I was like, oh, okay. So when I first started, I'm not a reader. I feel like I have ADD, like squirrel brain, all the things everywhere. So for me, I have to like listen to something, and I didn't want to get into books. I didn't have the money to spend on books. So the biggest thing that really changed my mindset and my business was listening to just like motivational compilations on YouTube on my way to work, because it was an hour drive to work and an hour drive home from work. So I spent that first hour of my morning just had something playing while I was getting ready for work and all that stuff. And that literally changed the game for me, because you're just starting your day off so differently than if you were to like, all right, I'm looking at my bank account, crap, I don't have enough money, so I'm gonna have a shit day because now I'm mad that I don't have this and this. Like, it's just finding the thing that's going to work for you. If you are a book reader, reach out to your upline and just say, hey, what's a good book that I can get started with, or something that you know that works well for you, because like I said, I need something that's talking to me, I'm listening to it, all that stuff. If I'm reading a book, I won't get what's going on in the book. So you just have to find something that's going to fit you. But I promise you, it really changes the business, because you look at the responses differently when they say no, or when they say not right now, or when they say stop messaging me, you're annoying, blah blah blah, like all those things. But Audibles, YouTube stuff, literally you can just YouTube like motivational talk or something, and a whole bunch of stuff is going to come up. So that's something that changed the business for me, just how I looked at people responding to me, and just how I looked at my life on the outside of that. Like, I have so much more grace now 5 years later than I did 5 years ago when some crazy stuff had happened. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I think it's so perfect. I mean, because it comes down to mindset and just making that decision each and every day. Because the hardest part is going to be consistent, like we've said over and over, and I told you guys are going to hear it, but then making that mindset shift. And so I would encourage you, there is an awesome Audible called Go for No. You can get it on Audible, or it's all the way up on YouTube. Like, you can get it for free on there. Trying to say it quietly so that they don't flag it, and take it down. But that is an amazing thing. And so I would encourage you, as you guys listen to other trainings and you get tips, because some of our topics for the next couple of weeks on the Monday night Zooms are going to be talking about, how to enroll customers and how to enroll distributors. That's the other piece to this. But I would just encourage you, as you're reaching out and sending out those messages, or you're posting your story and you're reaching out to the people that have added, like, message you on your polls and different things, keep messaging and go for 10 no's a day. Okay. I can guarantee you can get a lot of messages out, because you're probably not going to have that many people that say no. You might have some that ignore you. That doesn't count. You might have some that, maybe they're like, okay, I want some information. That doesn't count. Just because they didn't respond, or, didn't flat out say no. I want you to get somebody that flat out says no, and encourage yourself to go for those no's. Because I think that that's a huge thing that I always, when I think about messaging, because you can get 10 messages out and that's 10 messages. But if you're getting those genuine, if you're messaging until you get those 10 no's, I think that that's huge. And sometimes too, I know somebody asked, how do you get people to answer you? Sometimes it's just tweaking a message. If you've used something for a little bit, it might just be tweaking one word. Sometimes it might be, sending a voice message, but that's a great time to go back to your sponsor and just say, okay, look, like, I'm not getting a lot of response. And you guys would be surprised at how many times it's like, Connie might say, hey babe, and I have to say, hey girl, or hey sister. Like, I can't even describe it. Like, it might be something silly like that, but it's just whatever is more beneficial for you. I think that that's like, I don't know. It's just crazy. So keep messaging. I promise you will see the results from that. Did you want to add something? Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that I've actually been telling my team recently is, because if I'm squirrel brain, somebody else is squirrel brain, and somebody else read their message and forgot to respond. So we have to look at it that way too. Like, don't just look at it and be like, oh my God, they just read my message and they didn't respond. They probably read it at lunchtime and they were in a rush and they forgot to respond, or they forgot to hit send. So just sending a follow-up message, just being like, hey girl, did you just see my last message? What's the worst they can do? Is ignore you again. And then you just go like and comment on their page until they finally see it. Or like Erin said, their kid opened it, or their kid had their phone. There's so many other reasons than they're just ignoring you. And I think we just have to our feelings when it comes to that part, because it makes things so much more easier and it runs so much more smoothly, because 9 times out of 10, that's sometimes what it is.
Yes. Well, I mean, think about it, like, I always think, like, how many times do you get emails from, like, places where you've put your cart and it's like, I will, this is a true story. I put something in my cart at Target, and it literally every couple hours I get a ding, and it's like, your cart is calling you. And I'm like, crap, I just haven't gotten a minute to like do it. And I got another ping, and then it's another email. And so I'm like, am I mad at Target? No, I just went and placed my order. I'm like, thank you for reminding me, because I forgot. And so I think that that's so powerful. And just knowing, like, people aren't saying no to you personally. They're not, it's either they're busy or it's just not the right timing. But I promise you, if you plant that seed and keep messaging and keep doing the things, go for the no's, it's going to take you a lot. You're going to get a lot more messages out when you flip that mindset. Okay, Britt, I'm going to come to you real quick. So how did you not necessarily make the mindset, but who did you start talking to in addition? Because obviously it's not just like, okay, let's sign up our 3 people and go Ruby. because we want to go Ruby and beyond. Because when we start to look, if y'all go and look at any other chart promotion, Ruby is going to be the foundation for that, right? Emerald is 2 rubies. Diamond is 3 rubies. And so it's just essentially taking that foundation and building upon it. So how did you keep working through that as you're working towards Ruby? Because we don't want to just do that and stop. You want to keep talking to people each and every day. So how were you planting seeds, and how did you make that mindset shift to go Ruby?
I love that so much. I was actually talking to Alyssa because I feel like lately, the more people that I'm talking to about the opportunity, the one common thread that keeps going is it hard to sell? Or another thing like, oh, I just don't think I could ever do that. I'm hearing that more now than ever before. And I feel like every single time that you come up against something like that, at one point you probably thought the same thing too. I feel like every single person that joined this business did. So when I first started, I wrote down every single thing that I was nervous about. I was like, I don't think anyone's going to buy this. I wrote everything down, and then I made myself respond to it. And I love when you say, like, talk to yourself like you would talk to a kid, or talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend or someone that you love. And instead of being like, I don't think anyone's going to buy this, I'd write down, no, I see value in these products. I love these products. Other people have value. I'm offering it to them. They're gonna want this. And I wrote that down so that when I got to that, when someone else said, oh, I don't think anyone's gonna buy from me, or I have nobody on my social media, I had a response. Because what I noticed is what I did at the beginning, as I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, no one's gonna buy from you. I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking to you, and get so awkward and just like peace out. So if you've done that before, like, I feel you, I understand. And now I talk to so many people a day just because I believe in it. And I believe just being a sponge and other people's beliefs hasn't impacted your life day one. But you need to start thinking about what it will impact and start borrowing from other people up every single day, which, like Erin said, is so hard. And getting around people who believe in this business. Don't hang around people that are like, yeah, I know I didn't have time to do my task list today. Those aren't your people. You want to hang around the people that go, come on, we have 30 minutes. Let's send out a couple messages. And if you start surrounding yourself with that, make this feel like it's so normal. Because you guys, honestly, this business is simple. And if you're new, you might be like, I don't even know what I have to do. I promise you, you're going to learn and be like, oh, that's it. Like, I just have to talk to people and post my stories and then follow up with them. Like, is this a joke? And I'm going to get paid thousands of dollars? Like, okay, like, that's pretty much the best deal ever. If you have the mind going into of dessert, and that just really hanging around with right people. Erin bought it for me. You probably don't even know this, but it was one of those competitions, and I got that in the mail, and I was like, oh my gosh, Erin Tweed just sent me a book. Like, I'm fangirling right now. But it changed my business, because all of a sudden the mindset shift of, I am offering an opportunity that not only is going to change my life, but it's going to change your life. And it has changed so many people's lives. Worst case scenario, you say, no, not right now. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I think if you write down what you're scared of happening and then write down the truth behind it, you'll realize your fears aren't that scary. Honestly, like, every single time you're going to be like, okay, no, it's actually not that bad. I can do it. And practice makes perfect. So if you want to work this business one day a week, I promise you will always feel hard. If you decide that you're going to dive in every single day and really work on your mindset and just speak truth over yourself, like, that's something I still do to this day. I write down what I'm grateful for, and I write down I am statements, because you're not going to believe that you're capable of everything every single day, but you can remind yourself. So I would encourage you, if you just started, to start that today, so it becomes your new normal, to be like, I am a master enroller. I'm signing my 6 customers today. Like, let's do it. And just really be your own biggest hype girl. And if you don't have a hype girl, reach out to someone else too and be like, I'm nervous, let's do it. And then have somebody there cheering you on. I think that's super important.
Exactly. So one little thing to add on to what Britt said, and we're going to do this little exercise. So you guys, I want you to take a few minutes to jot down. So as you guys are thinking this, and maybe your brand's making you, or maybe, you're kind of refocusing your chart and reworking some things, or maybe you're going for like diamond and above. I want you to jot down like 3 qualities of people that you want to surround yourself with, as far as like the business. If you could have your ideal people join your team, I want you to go ahead and jot down a few qualities, like 5 to 7 to 10, if you can type really fast. Put them in the chats too. Is this person driven? Are they, like confident? Like, what are those certain things? So put that in the chat for me. So that way we can kind of see what different things. And then in a minute, once I see some going, getting jotted down. Perfect. We got determined, disciplined, confident, positive, consistent, goal-driven, determination, problem solver. There's probably some more coming in. Willing, motivator. So then once you're kind of going through these things, I want you to ask yourself, are you showing up and being that? Because if you want to have this amazing team and you want to go Ruby and you want to go beyond, here's the thing, it's not just about you. Yes, you could build a chart to Ruby by signing up people and doing a lot of the business, but it's not going to be sustainable. And so show up as the person that you're envisioning and you're thinking all that, and those other people are going to come into play. So maybe you haven't shown up as that today. That's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. I want you to make sure that you're not, give yourself grace, in those different things when you need to, because it's going to be that constant, oh, I've got to go through these things, or I'm doing these things, because Ruby, it is a team effort. Okay. You don't want to just sign up people to sign them up. You want to rally them behind the goal. And the best part about it is when you're signing up those 3 people and they've gotten what they become those qualified leads, guess what? They've gotten over 400 in volume. So that means they've got sales coming in. They've got different things coming in. You're helping them earn an extra income. You're helping them earn that $150 bonus. And then guess what? You're going to take that and teach them to go Ruby and pull out the Ruby charts and find 3 friends. And so that's the power of this business, is really in the duplication piece. It's not just, oh, like I want to make the extra money. It's the impact that you're making. Not only are you working towards that promotion, but other people are benefiting from it. And so I think that that's so powerful. So Alyssa, Britt, or Connie, anything else that you guys want to add? If you guys have any questions, drop in the chat, because here's the thing. We don't want to keep it super intense or detailed or anything like that, because the thing is, it's just making that commitment. It's just making that mindset shift to just show up each and every day for that. And there's specific trainings on signing customers. There's specific trainings on how to enroll distributors for more specific tips. But anything else that y'all want to share, go ahead and unmute.
I have one more thing I wanted to share.
Perfect.
I just wanted to say that the task list that maybe you have learned about or haven't learned about yet, it works, period. And I think sometimes when you're working every single day and you're wondering, like, is anyone ever going to sign up with me? If you're asking 10 people every single day, hey, have you ever thought about making extra income? Those people will sign up with you eventually. So I want you to just stay consistent and make that promise to yourself that you're going to do it, because I promise you it works, and it works all the way to Ambassador Diamond. The things that you do now are going to be the things that you do over time. Your leadership just grows with them. So stay consistent with those, and then know why you're here too. And it makes the work even simpler when you have that reason that like keeps you up at night if you don't do it. So those are my last 2 things.
Yes. And I went ahead and put, you can search daily task lists or on our 2021 focus, or go back to eSuite under document library. Document library is like golden. Okay. If you haven't explored it, it's amazing. That was always my go-to, because I always wanted to figure out what are the different things. But those specific, like I love, because I'm a busy mom of 3. We've got sports, we've got school, we've got all kinds of activities going on, but having the task list, and that's something, if you're brand new, every single Sunday night, we're going over that. We're giving tips on how to do those things. So if you're having a hard time adding 25 friends, hop on one of those trainings, because they're going to give you tips specifically for that. Okay, Alyssa or Connie, anybody want to add anything else?
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah, look
I
at
just want
that
to
cute
add, like,
little
don't be
babe.
afraid to, sorry, I have this, my sister's baby. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that's like the biggest thing for me. Like, I ask all the questions, and I just don't allow that like fear to like hold me back, because if I want to know the answer, I'm going to ask. Or if somebody's doing really good or signing a lot of customers, just ask how they're doing it. And at the end of the day, I mean, they're either not going to answer you, or they're going to answer you, or ask your upline to ask them, because that's the best way to get help.
Yes, and amen. All right, Alyssa.
Yes. Kind of off of what Connie said, because you can ask all the questions, but also be a problem solver for yourself and start searching for the answers as well. So like the Facebook pages are absolutely amazing. There's the little magnifying glass, and just put in a keyword like Ruby. Like tonight, you're hearing so much about Ruby, but not necessarily how to exactly hit Ruby. But those are the places you go, or on YouTube. There's so much training out there. Or ask your upline, especially if you're brand new. I know it's like, that's my girl who signed last night. Like, we're going to review all that, but ask your upline where you can find these videos as well, because I know it can be overwhelming to like start searching all the places, but that's what your leaders are here for. Just ask the questions.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it comes down to like you can be a student and you can get all these things and you can get all the information, but the game changer is going to be the application. You can be the perfect student, get on every single Zoom and have so much potential, but if you don't put it into action, that's where it's lacking. And so make sure, if you are doing the tasks, do them effectively, or if something's not making sense, that's a perfect time to go back to your sponsor, ask questions, say, okay, how do you get your 25 messages out, or whatever it is, those specific things. I'm mixing up tasks now, but I said, well, half of one and half of the other one. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, doing those different things, but getting the tips on, tuning in on Monday nights when we're doing the specific trainings on signing customers and distributors, that way you can get a little bit more information on those specific things, but just start all the things, make that mindset shift. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. Most people are like, how did you, I'm like, I literally think I blacked out through Ambassador. I didn't know what exactly I was doing, but I was willing to do the work. I was willing to plant the seeds. I was willing to add to my network. I was willing to talk to people because I needed the $500 extra a month so badly. And so make that commitment, even if you're working towards something beyond that. Make that commitment that you're just going to do all the things because that Ruby's the foundation. And the more that you wrap your mind around, okay, as I'm going Ruby, I'm going to help more people. That's the power in that promotion, is just getting you to that. And so Ruby, it's a simple thing. I'm not saying the work's going to be easy. I'm not saying, you're not going to have people that tell you no or think that you're crazy. No, but to go out there, start talking to people, start planting those seeds, start doing the host posts, do all the things, and just take advantage of it, because there is so much power. So thank you, ladies, so much for hopping on. And I'll have this recording up here shortly. I will have those separate links to some different trainings and stuff that way you guys can go back and watch that. And again, ask all the questions, ask for information. If something isn't making sense, that is a perfect thing. So I hope everybody has a great night, and we will see y'all later. Bye, everyone.